All right, man. Who? It's your boy Chasta on your Apostle's favorite DJ. We're back again, once again, bringing you the top 10 dopest album covers of 2020. I am your boy Chasta on your Apostle's favorite DJ. I'm with my guy,
Mr. MediaX. I'm out here. What's up? I hope everyone is good. And yeah, definitely shout out to all the whack designers, whack artists out there. We hope you're keeping up to date with what we're done. This is for you guys more than anyone else.
So this thing so far has been going really well. We've been able to come once a week, put a dope review together. Media bring his one, I bring my one, we chop it up, and we just decided where it is. Media today was Pateleng, dog.
Yeah, man. No, I've got some dope stuff out here. Obviously, in terms of review, I think in terms of just bringing some quality to the game. I think, as per standard, you brought a shocker to the table. So, yeah. I'm definitely.
For those who didn't see the last episode, check this out.
Yeah, no. Last episode, you came back with the heat, man. But I think today, you've probably dropped. It's probably gonna be, I think, your biggest shocker of just the entire. I don't think you'll go lower than you've gone today.
But the last time, apparently, I went low was with the F40 bars. Ganadia.
Exactly.
So is this lower than that?
Hey man, we'll let the streets decide. But yeah, man, you know what you did. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
All right, let's snap it. So my selection for this week is the cover by Jay Electronica for Jay Elec's debut album. It was written. Yeah, I think that's my choice, man. I think I don't think it's gonna be the high end of the scale for the stuff that we put out, especially when you look at like the stuff we deciphered last week. So the creative team, by the way, the album cover was shot by Beyonce Knowles. So that's a plug right there for Jay Elect. So obviously Beyonce is a bit of a photographer out here, and then there's an assumption that there's a street skater / designer called Jimmy Gorecki. I think that's how Jimmy Gorecki. Yeah, I think that's how. I'm sure he had something to do with adding the finishing touches to this cover. But yeah, that's my pick.
Wasn't this a collaboration album with him and Jay-Z?
The album. Listen, bro. It was his debut album. It was a debut album. If you want us to get into the music, don't worry, we'll get into the music. We're gonna have a show.
Okay, let's get into the cover, because the cover is quite interesting. And I'm seeing. I don't know. When I look at the cover, there's a mood it creates in me.
Yeah. 100%, bro. 100%. I think the idea apparently around it, or what's being said around, is that it's a photograph of Beyonce's pool. So I did a lot of reading up on this, and funnily enough, when you do a lot of reading up on a certain content piece, you start realizing there's the same press release that's just going around to absolutely everyone. And this is Miss Knowles' pool, man. So that's apparently a picture by Beyonce. She played photographer out here, and for me, I'm not mad at it. It's a dope cover.
Okay, man. Concept. Like to actually get into it.
All right. So the title, the big idea, the relevance.
Sure.
Conceptually, so obviously the album title is called The Written Testimony. But
Sounds
I think,
very Yes, it sounds very what's the word? Biblical. The written
Yeah,
testament,
yeah.
yeah.
Even if you look at how they've, I think they've almost tried to put it together as like an ancient tablet of sorts. When you look at it. So,
An
but
ancient scribe.
yeah, exactly. So conceptually, from my side, though, it's called a written testament. And when I kind of look at that and I look at the big idea of what's going on, did it connect through the visual that they chose for this? I gave it a 2 out of 10 for the concept.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, as I said, I think it's a dope cover. I don't think it's going to be at the highest end of our scale, but a written testimony, and then I see the cover. I've got a little bit of feeling of that because of the type of character that Jay Electronica is. He can kind of get away with a lot. As we've been seeing with someone like Kanye, where it's almost like he's starting to try to get away with a lot of whack stuff just because his name is.
Okay. And then your thoughts on the type and the writing.
I think I'll touch on that when we get to the visuals. How do you look at what's your concept? What's your look on the concept?
The written testimony. I think so. From what I saw and from what I gather, I think it's written in Arabic. So when I saw that, I automatically thought of Islam. So, and then I quickly then started to look at the references of what Islamic art looks like.
Sure.
Yeah. So in terms of the concept, it's a 5 because I could see a pattern of art that exists in that type of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. But like I'm tempted to get into the type, so I want to wait for you first before I start him jumping the gun.
Well, I think the type then would be so out of concept you gave it a 5. Next we go on the visual then, and I think this is where we hit the conversation of the typography and that kind of approach to things. So my rating for the visual, I gave it a 7 out of 10. I'm a big fan of the visual, bro. Big fan of the visual.
Sure.
Talk to me. How do you look at the visual?
10, bro. That's.
You gave it a what?
You show way like it's a 10.
No, I said I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Oh, okay. For me, dog, it's also a 5. The written testimony, a picture taken by the pool. I don't know.
Yeah. What for the visual?
Yeah.
I mean, I've got my motivations. You know what I'm saying?
Like media, I feel like this artwork specifically could have been done on Instagram. Have you seen Insta Live story?
Sure.
Insta Live, Instagram, where you touch this you make it small, to find a white background. I just feel like it's more like a 5-minute job.
So with this visual, you just compared the album art to an Instagram post.
Hey, Insta story. It's that quick.
I mean, I could get where you're coming. I could get where you're coming from there, and hence why I for me I aligned that more to a lack of connecting conceptually. I still think visually for me, I mean, bro. Okay, look, man. I think I appreciated going white on white. If there's a Ricky Ross track where he's like, he's white on white. What does he say on hustling? I don't know, man. But he talks about being white on white.
Sure.
Like it takes guts, bro. It takes guts to you know what I'm saying, to execute a typography that is wide.
And then we find it from shadow, so we can just see what's he calling.
You know what I'm saying? So like, dude.
Fucking what I'm saying. Come on.
You also gotta understand that this was shot by Beyonce as well, G. Like that automatically takes it to 5. So, I think you're gonna have some Beehive members coming at you, bro. I mean, I think visually it's a beautiful visual. I can't. In fact, for me, the visual is the strongest part about this. I like the visual, man. I like the visual.
Let me show you. It's people who Beyonce is a great artist, but now I feel like we also now giving her a free pass on the basis of her being a dope musician. Art is a different story, bro.
Free pass and everything, bro. What's wrong with you?
For example, it's a nigga example. For example, Diesel, Lowe Squadra has been responsible for Amakava Azagwe. All of Amakava ga Uzagwe.
Oh.
So he designs. He's a graphic designer. So he's done a lot of albums for Zagwe, and in fact, a lot of other cats. Even the Squadra Camp, he was the guy who was doing those covers. But we never heard with Frontline go push a cover to push the sales of the for people to say, yo, bruh, if we thought Zagwe wasn't dope enough, his cover is also as dope because it's designed by an artist. No, bro. Like Leo, it's good, it's cool information to know, but it doesn't add any prestige to the art. And right now, I feel like you're trying to sell me this artwork based on the fact that Beyonce had a hand in this.
Bro, did you see how she captured the? Look at this, bro. Let me look at my PC here, bro. Just leave it on pay, bro. And I already got the problem, pal. Look at that, bro. Look at how like the what's the technique called where like the Photoshop technique where like the reflection.
Hey baba. Baba. Oh yeah, dude, like you're saying, it was taken from a swimming pool, so of course there's gonna be reflection on the water.
Yeah. But still, Beyonce swimming pool. Pastor, man, I think this is a hard image. I think they use such a wide scope. I think the mystery that's created just from, I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't know that's, in fact, one of the first things that happened is that when this image came out, people were like, what's that image of? What, there was lots of questions going on around it. And that's why then, it was kind of put out that no, it was actually leaked. Leaked. It was, it's a photograph of Beyonce's pool. Because before people were told what this image was, they didn't know what it was. And for me, that speaks to a, mysterious, and I mean, that's the kind of guy Jay Electronica is. He's, he's a mystery and stuff, bro. So, I
agree. I think Nami, I'm not gonna act as if I've been following Uche for the longest time. This was the first project I actually heard, and I actually got to understand a lot of things about him. In fact, about his faith, because in the opening intro, he's got Ufero Khan with an opening speech sack. So that's when I heard that, I was like, okay, I kind of get this guy's thinking, because I know Ufero Khan and what he's famous for. So, and also when I saw the type and how it was treated, I was like, oh, okay, that was another link to me understanding who Jay is. So he's an Islamic rapper, he's black conscious, so he belongs to the domination. So a lot of things I got at first glance. Yeah.
Nah, bro. He's one I definitely recommend out of all the people, bro. Jay Electronica, bro. For me, one of the anyway, why am I getting this? Ain't about music. I keep going
it's not. Music. Let's go back.
This ain't the music show, man. Cool, man. Execution for me. How well was this done? How well was this executed?
Hey, sure,
you know, and there's a thin line here where I guess the big debate is this lazy or is it dope? You know, so execution for me, I lean towards the lazy side. Like, and you gotta understand, bro. As you know, I guess we say this a lot, man. But I love Jay Elec, bro. But yeah, this execution, I gave it a 5. And actually, I'm gonna move down to a 4. Actually, I think this is a 4 in terms of execution. If you told me that this was put together in 10 minutes, I'd believe you. And I still think it's a beautiful visual, but I'm not, you know what I'm saying? And again, those white on white, you know, I really appreciate that thing of it. But you know, how well was it done?
Ufake iframe wehlisa i-opacity, like the gold frame around the picture.
So yeah, man, I think in terms of execution, it gets a 4. It's, you know what I'm saying? I don't see anyone
not being able. I don't see anybody not being able to do this art piece as soon as they get a Photoshop.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think nice little sweet play around with the color, the mood. I think the mood is one thing that maybe even gives it a 4, because there's a kind of mood they capture.
No.
Definitely.
That's where I agree with you. But I think for the past covers we've actually been reviewing, there's this thing where you kept on saying, which I really enjoyed, is does this piece want you does it inspire you to become a designer? Does it challenge you to take up a machine and check out a tutorial on how to do this?
Sure.
And right now, it doesn't really do that for me. It doesn't inspire me to. Maybe it inspires me to go take a picture, but it doesn't inspire me to now explore its tombe and to say, how can I manipulate this tombe into Photoshop and create an art piece out of it.
Yo, man, I think for the craft, it doesn't do much for the craft, and you know, we're here about the craft. We're here for the craft as well, bro. We're here for that culture side of things. What's your number then?
It's a 3, dog.
3 for execution.
Sure, it's a 3 for execution.
Yeah, man. You know, going a bit hard on Jay Elec, bro. This is the legend, but no, definitely, I think Jay Elec, I guess, you know, a lot of the part they left it to the music here. That's how I feel, man.
Yes.
I think it's a case of, okay, cool. Slap it on, package it. We got music coming. We know the music is up. And I think the surprise was so big in how they, you know, they sets up the whole music for it. So, you know, it is what it is, man. The last thing, in terms of disruptiveness, I'm not even going to play games. For me, this was a 2 out of 10. It's just not a disruptive image. It's too simple. It's a square. You talked about the Instagram. I mean, this is an Instagram image. You know, Jay Elec, he's a legend. He's a GOAT. He's in my top 10 living dead or alive. I think him, Beyonce, and Jimmy, I'm not sure what they were thinking, but also it's like, I don't really believe there were many of those discussions that took place. And I think the reason to give it a 2 is because the merge that I've seen from it has been quite interesting, man. The merge that I've seen from it has really, really been quite interesting. It's worked out a lot better on some of the merge that I've seen.
Wow, okay. That's dope.
But that has to go at, I'm just like, this will live on because he is such a mythical figure. But you know, it's almost like when you look back at Illmatic, you know, was the Illmatic cover dope, or was that album just so legendary?
Sure. So yeah, fair too. For me, MediaX, to be honest with you, I think it's a bit disruptive. For example, me being a Christian, and as soon as I see Islamic drawings on you see, it becomes very it's very out there, it's very forward thinking, and it's very vocal about someone's faith. So for me, it's actually disruptive. It's actually a 5. It's also very unashamed. And in Christian, we talk about being
Exactly.
we talk a lot about being unashamed of the gospel. And here's a person who's actually put his faith out there first and said, this is who I am, this is what I represent. So I think it's very disruptive. I can see this living in a person who is Muslim's home, because it's actually as a piece, it actually fits in that description of the art itself. So I for disruptive, I say that it's a 5. And also media also understand when we talk about the Islamic faith, there are very people who are very subtle, you know. So they subtle, they're not all over the show in terms of their art, they're not overbearing. So also them having white on white is exactly part of the personality, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, like it's a 5 for me there.
Yeah, man, I can live with that, bro. And I also like it when you educate me a bit on this. But I think that's some strong points that you pick up there, bro. I think in terms of those are elements you can look at. I think that even the fact that there was almost a bit of a riddle with this in terms of what. So because the top layer, from what I know,
Sure.
it's Jay Electronica, and then the bottom is the album title, right?
Okay.
So it's almost like there were all these little kind of passive but informative little things that they left there for fans to figure out for themselves.
Yeah.
Which is I get to do, I'll stick with my 2 though, because I gotta be a real G about it. But I definitely get your points. And it makes a lot of sense. It's definitely, you're not gonna see somebody especially somebody, even though he's not the most commercial guy. I mean, he has that appeal, or he stands next to. I mean, his cover was shot by Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? And he's featuring JD, so he does have that relationship with the mainstream. And for him to come out unashamed, bars, bro.
Man, let's cross over to my cover, man.
I'd like to apologize for anyone who follows the show for just productive insights into stuff. The pastor's out here. He's done it again. And bro, I'm not not affiliated with this decision. I'm here. I'm speaking for the people right now. Speak for yourself, Pastor.
Okay. So we all know a few months ago there's an album that dropped on Instagram, Twitter, and blew up. It caused a lot of stir. People was like, was it by him? Was it not by him? Was it a recording label? In fact, you're the person who brought it into my attention. And then I was like, okay, maybe not the music, but the cover though. And for me, this one is very personal. The cover, it's a personal cover. It's a personal conviction, and there's a lot for me to say on the cover. So the cover, my pick is the Areece album, which is called Sotho Man with Power. That's the album cover.
Some power.
Sorry?
A Sotho Man with some power.
Yes. Sotho Man with some power. Okay, let's start here. Let's see, he's been campaigning about an album that he's going to be dropping called Zulu Man with Power, right? Media?
Sure.
Yeah.
You're breaking up a little there.
No, you see, so let's see, yeah, he's been campaigning and talking about his album that he's going to be dropping called Zulu Man with Power.
Yeah.
So when this album dropped rather, there was a lot of like saying why is Areece throwing shots at him. But we're not gonna talk about the music. I'm just gonna go straight into the cover, bro.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's go to the first one. Concept, Sotho man with some power. Concept is a high 6. High 6.
Concept is that?
Is a high 6. Is a high 6.
All right.
It's a high 6, man. Why? Okay, I'm gonna start talking about concept. So you know, people, the Sotho people,
Wait.
I give it a high 6. So I don't know if you are accustomed with customs of Sotho people in terms of their traditions, in terms of their fashion, bro. Their fashion, their high fashion.
So did you just ask a Zulu guy if he's accustomed like with anyone else's? Bro, we're like the most ignorant people.
Sure.
Like,
Okay, Vince. So Media, the Sotho people are originally from Lesotho. History class kancane. The king is King Moshoeshoe, the great King Moshoeshoe from the mountains of Taobasiho. So it's a very cold place. So traditionally, the attire is ama blanket. Now you see on the cover itself. Ama blanket. But also, what I'm liking about the concept is Sotho men with some power, which talks to the overall attire of how these guys are looking. You know, for example, Media, here's a beautiful thing about when we talk about uniform. When you see a policeman wearing the uniform, you don't respect them up. You don't respect them based on who they are. You respect them based on what the uniform says to you.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that AMA uniform communicate. For example, if you pick a nurse, AMA nurse have the uniform. If you're looking at a fireman, they've got the uniform. If you're looking at a policeman, they've got their own uniform. So if you're looking at the Basotho people, they too have a specific uniform within by Gorecki.
Yeah.
So I really like that in terms of the concept part of side, which it speaks to what we already know, the message. Like me, I already been feeling ingubo, you feel petisa kill and feel amatata. There's a perception or kabangayo, which is already created by me not even speaking to you.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
I hear you, bro. I hear you, bro. And that's some game. That's some knowledge game. I think that's some good stuff, you know. And that's some stuff, I guess, in a weird way that just brings attention to. However, from my side, all right, from my side, like, just from the sheer disrespect and the theft. Firstly,
you said we're not talking about music, bro.
Creating the concept. Yes, we are creating the concept. But it's not about music, it's about the concept, right? So there's a concept out there that lives that is called Zulu Man with the Power.
That's a dope, man.
You comes Sotho Man with the Power. So already you have just lost, but already you're 50% behind me, simply because you have bitten the whole thing. You get what I'm saying? You have bitten the whole thing. And now, if you're gonna buy, we're not against replication here, bro. We got nothing wrong with niggas copying stuff and what.
Media.
But and I'm not even saying that this dude copied it. So,
he copied the title, not the art piece.
Bro, like here we are creating the concept. The title is related to the concept, bro. But the icon come out for like how long has Nazis been pushing this narrative and this concept, bro? It's honestly probably been about a year and a half, at least about 18 months.
But Media, don't you think this is fueling the album STC?
listen, as a media stunt, then it's cool. That can be on other elements of our judgment. For me, though, conceptually, it's not a new concept. You didn't come and execute something conceptually that connects to, so for me, for concept, I gave it a 1. That's what I gave it. The only reason I didn't even give it a 0 is because we haven't even agreed if we're allowed to give people zeros. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
But you know what I'm saying? And again, I've got no issues with people, whether it's called stealing ideas or replicating. That's not even my issue. My thing is, if you're gonna do that, you gotta do it dope. You know what I'm saying? We gotta like how the Kendrick Lamar people did it. You know what I'm saying? Somehow that was dope. But this, I think not. I think it was just like whoever did this was just like out of line, and then I love the context at which you gave for the image, but I think that's actually very interesting, even like for me to kind of look into, But because of the narrative that came with this, I'm not even sure people will give it that opportunity, and that for me is because I think of this album and I laugh, bro, because I was just like, this whole scenario is hilarious, But I also agree with you in terms of, does this probably fuel nasty seasoning? That's actually a good thing to pick up. A very interesting thing to pick up.
Okay, so when you go to visuals, and I think this is our responsibility on this platform and our show, which is we need to start investigating and try to track down the people who are responsible for such things. I think for me it was really disappointing not to find the person who did this, but I was able to find a lot of photographers who shoot in this style. One of those guys being one of my favorite, I've shared his account on Instagram. He goes by the name UTC. MC What I Saw is the name of his page. You see what I saw. He takes a lot of those traditional, I think originally he's from the Limpopo, if I'm not mistaken. So he's got a beautiful aesthetic and pretense for Itombe. And he takes a lot of traditional pictures, and I really enjoy style asak. But I think this picture, and also I could be wrong, was taken by a guy called Justice Caleb. Justice Caleb, he's got a documentary where he does a lot of Basotho photography. And I saw a few of this type of pictures, not exactly this one, but in terms of the lighting, the mood, the dress code, it looked a little bit like Les Tombeles, which is... Sorry?
Saying it looked a little bit?
It looked like the picture which was used for the cover.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
From his work.
Yes, from his work.
Kudos to you for being able to track down that information, because I just could not find who was responsible for this. But I also think you've got an interesting process of finding this information. So as a visual, how would you rate it?
As a visual, okay, you see now as a visual, there's a lot of elements that are missing also from this part.
I'd agree with that.
For example, it's photography based, cool, and it also leaves a lot of things to imagination.
Sure.
And sometimes art has a responsibility of filtering people into a specific direction. I feel like this art leaves you more asking questions than answering questions.
Sure.
For example, I don't see Istrogo Sabesutu over here, and that's like the biggest attribute of power. So that's it. So if you look at flag Lesotho,
I'm whack. I actually forgot. Continue, we'll record. I'm meant to wear this while I'm on the spot.
Yeah, well, so I'm gonna be butchered for this, but this sabe suit is called Mukoto. That's the name of the suit we have.
All right.
So in this picture, it's not present, and that's like one of the biggest attributes to the culture. The Basotho flag has Mukoto in it. It's called Sabesu. And for this image not to have such a prominent entity to the culture is lacking for me. But also what I like about this image at the same time, it also talks about the modern culture of society. As much as Ingane will find the blanket gang as a swag steez, they'll feel like Ishko is killing the steez. So they want to be Sotho also, but they don't want to be too Sotho about it. As much as Zulu people bazokwa umqhele but not wear amabheshu to kind of complete the whole attire.
Exactly. Yeah.
So so in terms of as a visual aesthetics, man, and as something I look at as a picture, me personally, I would frame this picture. I would have it as a proud Sotho person. I would have it. That's why I'm saying for me, it's a very personal thing because as a people, we've never been represented in South Africa.
All right. So I didn't get. Did you give a number? Because I didn't hear.
The number I gave was for the visuals aesthetics. I also gave it a 6.
Gave it a 6. All right, cool. So, all right, cool. I get you on that, bro. I think for me, so for me, the two things that I liked about this visual was the composition. I thought the composition is just epic, bro. That little dog even that comes through. If I get myself, exactly, you know what I'm saying? If I get myself into the frame of mind of trying to take this image as serious as possible, I think the composition is hardcore, bro. The fact that the people aren't even looking at the image, they're not walking into, you're not seeing faces, you know, it's leaving you to figure out a lot. So
there's a level of upgwala.
Sure.
As in bayahamba bayakuflathela.
Oh yeah, exactly. So, and I also just love the coloring. I just love I like the coloring is dope, bro. I didn't, you know, okay, there's this element of it which looks like it was just pulled, and it looks like it was just taken out of a selection of images, but wasn't really, it wasn't like the best selection was put there. It's almost like it was a screen grabbed image, actually. You know what I'm saying? Because the edges aren't like refined, and I'm not sure if that's just because of the nature of what it was. You know, it was a case of, let's put this out there, let's slap this.
It was a smash and grab.
Slap. Exactly. So there was no almost attempt to do that. I don't know why I even get the feeling that it looks like a meme. I don't know why, bro. But again, maybe I'm just overpowered by the context of the whole thing. So I gave it a 5 out of 10 for the visual. It's definitely, in terms of as a composition, it's a dope ass. You know, just like even the swag with which these guys are walking in is just in its own lane. You know what I'm saying? Just in its own lane. So that's what I liked about it. Execution.
In terms of the execution, man, I think it's like you were saying before, Ubuti, it was just taken from somewhere. There wasn't much consideration to it. It was like a smash and grab situation where they just grab something, say title, let's do this, we out, you know. So execution, there wasn't much consideration to the title itself, the meaning, and what it's supposed to say. So execution for me is a 3.
I'm there with you as well, man. For me, it's a 3. I think, bro. I think if you're gonna go, I mean, you've already done half the job. You've already hacked the man's the Instagram or what, or his Spotify's, and you're already, so like if you're already gonna put so much effort, just do the whole job properly. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's a 3 for me as well. 3 on execution. The image is blurred. Come on, bro. Just, you can even run the sharpen tool over that. You don't even need to go onto Bridge and all that stuff, or Lightroom. You can just quickly to show what you made some effort to try to things up. But yeah, execution was just like no, and then the parental guidance, and then just like upload and move. So not something good to look at for me.
Here's something which is gonna be interesting for disruption. I think the title was more disruptive than the cover itself.
Yeah.
I think the title, bro. If I hear the title, I'm like, it's high up there, bro. And like, it's really disruptive. It's like, what?
Listen, bro. You know what I'm saying? This has been right low scale in terms of things I've looked at. But yo, bro, the disruption factor out here is like, like sit back and like it's just gonna be tied to this whole thing. Like, I don't even know how it's not gonna be tied to this thing forever. It's like forever gonna be in a footnote in the rollout of Zulu Man with Zimbabwe.
Sure. You know? But also, media. For me, what's interesting about this, it makes me wonder.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Would
I get you.
will preserve some of the culture of the Zulu, you know, like, because I feel like for me right now, cover LSTC is competing with this cover, bro.
Nah, I can agree with you on that, man. I can agree with you. I think in terms of disruptiveness, I gave it an 8 for disruptiveness.
Sure.
It might not be on any of the kind of things we usually look at in terms of, for example, just the extension ability, just the, how much it just some certain things we usually look at. But in terms of just breaking through culture and creating a moment.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, literally, I don't think we've heard Nasty C voice this narrative for so long that the last thing I thought is that somebody's gonna show up and be like, nah, Sotho Man is so power. The 8 is hard, it's disruptive. Yeah, the album by now actually they've taken it off iTunes and all the streaming platforms.
Sure.
They've pulled it, but the damage or the whatever the objective was,
it's already done.
Popularize whatever's going on, that's been done. The damage was already done.
Fair too. Yeah, Nami, it's up there. It's an 8, and yeah, man, it's just a young disclaimer because also not a lot of people understand what's going on. Areece is actually Tswana food, so that's another thing they actually got wrong. He's not Sotho. Yeah, so he's actually Tswana. So yeah, man, I think it also just creates a lot of questions. Who knows so much but also knows so little.
Yeah. I mean, it's just this could incite tribal warfare, and it just could cause all kinds of problems in terms of just what's going on. So I think and as as things something before, this in some weird way, this is some Dadaism at play out here, bro. Because
that doesn't
That's literally it. Like in the digital era, that's it at play because that's what happens. You know what I'm saying? You just like show up and do something like this, and just like it's done now. It's pulled off. Like I even got to know that Areece's government name is what I got to know that the government name.
Dude, because that's how hectic the implication was.
When your government name comes out as a rapper, like just from an album cover, G, from like government cover, nah, G, that's what's up. But yeah, I think Disruptive, it's up there as one of the more. I think that's the one where it's gonna be higher than a lot of things. It's one of the most disruptive things I've seen happen. But yeah, shout out, man. I think we're good. I think hopefully right now we're still corona free. If you're not corona free right now, we're gonna wrap up the show and go out there and get your test.
Yeah, man, it is your boy Tasta81 signing out. Peace in the Middle East. See you on them streets. We're gonna see you on another episode. I'm not sure when it's coming out, but you sure check it out on it's our YouTube handle, by the way, because we never push that. Our YouTube handle is African Design League on YouTube. Check that out. Follow it. Subscribe. You know how much it is. Subscribe. So check it out, man. Media, I'm out.
Oh, wait.